Okay, part 3, clinical experience. This is probably one of the ones that are the most obvious and there's no going around it. You will need to have direct clinical experience with a client group. Don't worry too much about which client groups. I would just go for what you are passionate about, what you like, and what's available. So I know sometimes it can be frustrating because AP jobs are like, oh, older adults, so you need experience with older adults. So you try to get all of that experience through voluntary work. Then the next AP position that's advertised is with children with learning disabilities, and then they want you to have that kind of experience, but then you have all of your older adult experience. I know it's frustrating, but whatever experience you start getting, there will be an AP job asking for that at some point. It's gonna happen. So the first one is volunteer ward assistant. You can contact your local NHS trust or hospital and basically employ the same steps that you would for the voluntary research assistant that I just mentioned. Just be eager, proactive, ask them if they need anyone, ask them if you could be of any help, tell them what you like. So you can tell them, for example, I would really like to work in a art group with patients in the in ward, or you can be saying that you would rather do something that's more like one-to-one or group-based. So just show your personality, tell them who you are, tell them that you're eager to become a psychologist. They're going to be happy to help if there's anything. If there's not, try again. Sometimes they keep your name on a database. This is a good idea to start doing that early on in your psychology career, so when you're in first or second year. Secondly, you can become a listening volunteer. So I was a Samaritan for 1 year and I really enjoyed the experience. It was really good training, good support, and invaluable experience caring for people that had mental health difficulties, especially around suicide. So you can become a Samaritan, you can become a childline volunteer. They also have their own set of training. You can become part of the university nightline. I think it's called nightline, and it's created by students for students, and again they train you and then you go on shifts and you listen to people when they're having issues, and it can be really good as a first step once again in the world of client care. 3, support worker. That is again something that is really common for psychology graduates to do because they don't really have entry requirements. All you need is just an eagerness to help, a good-hearted nature, being willing to do a lot of things. If you have more of a choice, then again go for the stuff that you like. So support worker for people with autism, support worker for people that are isolated. Try to keep it mental health related though, obviously. But there are so many opportunities, they come up all the time. They're not paid amazingly, but depending on the stage of your career, that might be good for you, and then they offer good training opportunities. Usually pretty much everyone on the doctorate will have done this job at some point. It's a rite of passage. And then similarly, 4th, mental health care assistant. I'm not actually sure what the difference is, but they're pretty similar to support worker. So yeah, important to keep it to mental health. And then lastly, for clinical, number 5, voluntary assistant psychologist. Now those ones, again, they sometimes get advertised, sometimes they don't. So you need to do the same thing that you did for the voluntary RA and voluntary ward assistant, is to contact NHS trusts or psychologists that you may know, or through word of mouth, just either be the first one to hear about an opportunity or put yourself out there, and then if something comes up they will call you. That's how I got mine, is I heard from a friend that was doing a course with me that they were going to look for one soon, so I immediately got the number of her boss, which was a psychologist, and I called him saying, hey, I heard about the position, I'm interested, and then we had an informal interview, and then that was it. So I was really lucky, and I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't putting myself out there. So basically the summary of all those sections, for all the voluntary opportunities, the key thing is to put yourself out there, ask around. Things won't just pop up. You need to know where they will pop up. People need to know that you are wanting them to pop up. You need to take action, and the earliest you do that, the better. Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to talk about the red flags in the field. Something that's just been being talked about quite a lot actually at the moment. People who just graduated may not have the best idea of what's normal, what's expected, what's available. They don't know what an AP position is supposed to look like or what it's supposed to be remunerated. So they might be eager to secure a place no matter what the terms are, and it could be a mistake. So if you're in that category, or if you're just not really sure, first of all, sometimes they advertise positions as assistant psychologist, but really what it is like admin and clerical support, and you will be underutilized. You will not have direct experience with clients, you will not have your own caseload, you will not have supervision with a clinical psychologist whatsoever. And again, this is relating back to like my first section. Even though the job will be AP, you will gain nothing from it that would be relevant to the doctorate. Unfortunately, you might not realize that until it's too late. And on the other hand, make sure that you aren't overutilized and that they give you way too much work and duties that you're not meant to have. I know the services are stretched, but you are not a psychologist, so you shouldn't be treated like one. So if you have a caseload and everything, you need appropriate supervision, and usually there are guidelines on that in terms of ratio. So make sure that you will have supervision with a clinical psychologist. Make sure that you are getting that. If they're not giving it to you, ask for it. This is vital. Okay, and then lastly, this is a bit more relevant to private healthcare because they tend to get away with it a bit more, but make sure that you're getting paid a decent wage. The field is so competitive that there are always tons of applicants, you know that. But the really sad part is that organizations that want someone to fill a role that is going to be assistant psychologist, they know that they can just put the salary as low as they want and they will still get dozens, if not hundreds, of applications. And that could be you. And I know sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, but think about how you value your work and your experience and your skills. Do you want to be paid minimum wage for an AP job and have it right now? Or do you want to get one that is remunerated enough and where they will value you? Think about how they will value you if they underpay you. So keep applying for positions that you know you are worth. Okay, on that note, that's about it for today's video, but before I close, I just wanted to reassure a lot of you. If you're going through this video and you're hearing all the job titles and you're thinking, I don't have that, what am I gonna do? Don't panic. You absolutely do not need to have all of the 10 ones I mentioned. As I said, if you have one of the research and one of the clinical, that's a really good start. Someone having a shopping list of 8 different positions is not a better candidate than someone who has 2 or 3 and is able to completely adequately reflect on them and how it has prepared them for doctoral training. They will be chosen over the one that has just bullet points. As long as you meet the requirements that are laid out in the person specs, you have a chance, as much as everyone else. That's so important to remember when you're applying to those jobs. You deserve the job just as much as anyone else. They're not better than you. Someone will always have better grades, someone will always have more experience, but employers do not care about that, or else the world just wouldn't work. They interview because they want to know you and who you are, and your personality, and what you like and what you don't like. Well, that's a bit more like a dating site. More about your personality and your values. Employers are interview panelists, they know that they're basically forming the future psychologists of the country, and they know that they have a very important task in their hands. So don't let yourself be discouraged and keep applying for you and because you like it. I hope this video was helpful and gave you some kind of ideas or inspiration for what jobs to apply for. If you liked it, give it a like. If you have any questions, you can comment that and I will immediately answer because I have no life. If you like my content or you want more videos, please subscribe. I always get so happy when I get a little notification saying I have a new subscriber, and I'll see you all later.